Welcome back to GrokTALK. Jim Rubens is still here talking to Susan. That's okay. We don't mind. We like people. It's called GrokTALK for a reason. See you later. Thanks a lot. Skip has stepped out to look for our guests. Wanted to remind you that we aren't just on Stitcher. You can also listen to us on iTunes. You can listen to us on iHeartRadio. And something's making a clicking sound on my computer, and I don't know what the heck that is. I'm going to turn this down and see if it goes away. Yeah, well, you know, I knew that. Not here? Traffic, maybe? Who knows? Could be. The traffic always screws everything up. Parking's bad enough around here if you don't get here at the right time. But sometimes when they have stuff going on downtown, they only blocked off one block, which I thought was nice because normally they block off the whole freaking half of Main Street and you can't find a place to park anywhere.
Yeah, but the farmers market's going on too, so that street just to the south of the State House is blocked, so it kind of makes it tough to get around. So you got two things limiting traffic.
No matter which way you go.
Every which way but loose.
Well,
sorry about that.
That's Concord for you. No, that's good. Good, exciting, energetic discussion.
Well, you know, maybe he will take you up on your. I'll help you along here.
I didn't say I'd help him along. I said he couldn't afford me.
Well.
There's a difference.
We can't afford you either, but here you are.
Yeah, but this is... Yeah, I love charitable causes.
Okay. That's true. That's true. We don't have any money anyway. She does.
No. You have to go back to the beginning of things, and until you go back, just like foundational documents, you go back and you see how things started. It's like doing a legislative history. A lot of things that sound good at the time, that make some sense, the unintended consequences of decisions. Not that anybody can necessarily know them, but failure to unravel and go back and say, oh, that's what happened. Then, you can't just fix things based on what happened yesterday. You have to look
Flasher.
at it. Flasher, there you go.
Oh, we have a call.
Maybe they're calling in.
Uh-oh. Boy, am I in trouble.
What did you do?
I don't know. I yelled at the guy.
Are we on line 2 or
Probably
line 1?
that.
Line 1. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
There
we go.
Best to you each morning.
Anyway, so you're absolutely right. I was just talking to Diane Gilbert.
It's Radical Moderate.
I was talking to Diane Gilbert, and
we'll bring you right in.
Radical Moderate's on the phone. And hey, how you doing?
Hey, Rad.
Hey, how's everybody?
Good. What's up?
I just wanted to echo Susan's comments.
Uh-oh.
That there is no way. I don't care what a candidate says. There is no way that they can make any changes without dealing with the outside pressures that are pushing on the United States to change. So for anybody to say, well, I'm going to go up against this globalist push to jack up energy prices for nations like the United States, modern Western nations, and stop that is a fallacy. There is no way that an individual politician can go up against the system. You have to understand how this started and where it's going in order to be able to deal with it properly.
Well, the funny thing about that, Rad, the biggest problem that let's just talk about gasoline prices, not to mention electricity prices, but let's talk about gasoline prices. When the price of oil historically had been denominated in dollars, your contracts are written to where the oil is bought and sold in dollars. And it depends on the value of that dollar that ultimately determines the sales or purchase price. So when the dollar has dropped in value by half since this current regime has been in place, the price of gas has doubled. It's not necessarily... Well, certainly it is the cost because costs are paid in dollars too. But when I used to work with clients to build power plants around the world, the projects that we built primarily were something called project financed, where instead of being a regulated utility where you could exchange a guaranteed rate of return to underwrite your capital investment, you're borrowing money, and typically it was a 70-30 split on debt to equity. So you had to get your plant built and up quickly, but because we were borrowing money in dollars, our contracts, our prices, our building materials, our labor, and everything were denominated in dollars. So when that dollar fails, the price of everything goes up. So certainly there's the cost of regulatory compliance, which is probably at this point unmeasurable. Certainly in the United States for something like PSNH.
And absolutely, yeah, and absolutely correct. You're absolutely right on target. And my contention is, and I think you all realize this by now, that I believe that that's strategically being done. That the entire reason is to make it is to crush, literally crush the middle class, because that's who's being affected the most by it. And if you take, also as far as energy goes, everything that's going on within this region, you can trace everything back to this overarching Agenda 21 plan when it comes to energy and forcing people by jacking up the prices through all these different avenues that you just explained, including the inflation of the dollar, to utterly destroy us and push our standard of living down, which is the entire object of this exercise for the.
Interestingly enough, when you sort of pull that apart, the whole idea of it used to be called, NIMBY, not in my backyard, and it evolved into something we called bananas, which is build nothing anywhere, never. And when you've got a state like Connecticut and the snots down there don't want nasty power plants built in their cute little state, other states, because of what used to be growth and economic expansion, you have to plan and build adequate sources of electricity for business and for homes. So as more and more people said, well, no, you can't build that here, other states picked up the slack, or it didn't get built. So we're at a situation now to where something called the reliability factor in power generation has become so small that once we're facing Vermont Yankee being shut down. That's a pretty good sized power plant. That produces electricity cheaply, although not politically conveniently, I guess, for the folks in Vermont. But you pull out, 3, 4, 5, 600 megawatts of power production. Where does it come from? Well, it comes from cheap project finance sources like gas turbines that get paid off quickly, but their long-term costs are a function of a volatile, in price and composition, energy, like natural gas. We don't have adequate pipelines in the Northeast to transport enough gas to manage the price. We can't store natural gas, just like you can't store electricity. What can we do? We can have cool things like hydropower. Shh, don't say that. Don't say Northern Pass, because then you've got transmission lines that are hard to tell from the satellites from ski slopes and trams. So it's what's popular, it's what's fashionable, it's a huge problem, and to go along with this nonsense that it's big oil and big subsidies. Well, that's silly. There's a group called the Rainmakers. They have a song called Government Cheese, and it says they'll make us all beggars because we're easier to please. So less power, more expensive power, keeps us down to the farm.
If I can just, I know you guys have guests, so I don't want to hold you up.
No, I just talk too much, so I'm going to be quiet.
No. I don't know. I can't see the screen, so I don't know if you guys have guests sitting there. I don't want to monopolize the time.
Nope. So far, not here.
If you Google Mega Regions 2050, you will see the official website, and it explains in detail what they're trying to do. And if you notice, that plan reflects with these maneuvers that are coming in this state, because we're no longer a state, we are part of a region, and that's what people, I guess, have to wrap their heads around, that we've really, our sovereignty is dissolving away as a state, and we are literally going to be set up regionally for all our needs. And, there are the next logical step is, the overarching.
Josh is on his way up. He just found parking. Sorry.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, if every state is the same, if every town is the same, if every city is the same, then there's no reason to move somewhere else to find a better life. So if the common denominator is it's all gray and it looks like the old Soviet Russia, then why would you move? What difference does it make, kind of thing?
Yeah, that's true.
Right. And that's the thing. And you see people are voting with their feet. They're moving to where it is cheaper to live, which unfortunately is exactly what the architects want in order to make the changes based on population. Once again, in accordance with Agenda 21, to make changes in those areas.
And you get rid of the rabble-rousers. Get them, go away.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But then you end up with states that, Rad, that I think more people are going to be willing to get the hair up across the back of their necks and go, yeah, I don't think so.
One can hope. One can hope. But it's a scary thing when you're trying to raise your family and pay your bills and keep your job, and if the one time that you stick your head up above the parapet somebody whacks you,
right.
You have to choose between your life and your liberty maybe, and
that's what they're doing. They're making people afraid to speak up. That was the entire impetus behind the IRS scandal. Their objective is to have people cower down. Now, there are ways to fight these people, and it doesn't necessarily extend to a gun, because these people are prepared to do what they have to do. Force is no threat to them because they are so insulated from, that end of the spectrum, that even if they were to send troops or soldiers or whatever after, people, like out in, with the Bundy Ranch or whatever, that they are so insulated from this, it does not matter to them. They don't operate in that realm. The strategy that has to flow in order to deal with these people is a mental strategy. And you can't outsmart them. It is possible. But it has to be done strategically. Because they fully are prepared to deal with, to meet
Is he related to you?
people with force.
Rad, we're going to cut you out loose because our guests are here. I'm going to take 60 seconds.
Thank you. And if you would convey my, I guess, I want to say congratulations, but support to Dr. Bear. There are many, many people behind.
He's here.
Him.
He just heard you. So there you go. All right, we're going to take 60 seconds. Thanks for coming on, bud. We'll be right back right after this.
This is the Coalition of New Hampshire Taxpayers. We're located at 8 North Main in Concord, New Hampshire. This is the repository for all things conservative and municipal. So if you have a problem in your town, your school, your budget committee, the right to know law, and now at the top of our list is voter fraud. You have a tip for us, some information for us, you want to join or help us out, cnht.org.
Hi, this is Rich Gerard, host of Gerard at Large in the Morning, the Manchester area's only locally owned, locally operated, focused, and interested, riveting radio show, heard live every Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 on 90.7 FM WLMW New Hampshire Family Radio, and available 24/7 live or archived at GerardAtLarge.com. Be sure to tune in.
Grok TV.